Work hard. Be somebody. Be something more than what you see in the mirror. Let the world be your mirror. Don't let them judge you, because the mirror can't judge you. Work hard. Be somebody. Be something more than what you see in the mirror. Let the world be your mirror. Don't let them judge you, because the mirror can't judge you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to UCPF-TV. This episode, we'll be talking about the 2026 season projections of the Carolina Panthers and the NFC South. We'll be getting started very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back.
Following presentation is the product UCPF-TV presented to you by Dogside Entertainment. Thanks for watching.
Now there's two sides to every story, Kenny. You always gotta remember that. You see, good guys can always go bad, especially when they get pushed too far. They wanted this. We told them the truth, and they pushed us right into the darkness. Now they're afraid of the dark.
Stride across their bones and bask in the
madness, as we know, is like all it takes is a little push. Return of Nick 2 yards across the 25, and he's in Fields.
as I stand here alone? Old, one man, this is many. Oh, fear not. My words and my shield, my sword of my truth. And with these two he burns all down. Commander 336, scorch there.
Commander, this is General Kenny. These boys are gonna need some help down here. You got them on the run. Over.
If you guys will hold that, I'm getting reports that we have the commander himself on the line. Commander, are you with us?
Yes, Joy, I'm with you. Hope you're doing well.
Thanks, Commander. We're gonna get right to it. Could you tell us how we got here today? Why are you doing this?
I am Commander 336, Commander-in-Chief of the UCPF, highest ranking member of the dark side of life.
We have come to commandeer these airplanes.
The takeover has already begun. This is only the beginning.
This is for all you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights. No one quits. Don't do your job, I'll kill you myself. Do you get me? Welcome to the Roughnecks. Ruthless Roughnecks.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to UCPF-TV. I am your host, as always, your humble Commander 336. And why are we here this evening? Well, I've taken this huge brain of mine, and I've used a bit of my computer friends to compile as much data as possible to bring you guys a bit of information as to what we could possibly see going into the 2026 season for your NFC South Carolina Panthers. So to start off, how do they predict the NFC South will go? Let's start there. As you can see, boom. Computer projections predict that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the NFC South this season. That is going to be a very interesting projection. And what we would like to do with this, right? At the end of the season, we're going to take the same information and compare it to what actually happens. So, computer projections predict that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the NFC South this season. So let us start there. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the lowest odds of plus 160 to plus 175 to win the NFC South. Key factors: Tampa Bay benefits the most from the roster continuity and a proven track record, 4-time division champs in a row prior to 2025. On top of that, they said that the Buccaneers also feature the division's most stable offensive structure under Baker Mayfield. They also have a high utilized offense this season and aggressively rebuilt the defense, so they say, with promising young pieces and the veterans. So the projection is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will win the NFC South this year. Just a projection. Who follows up as a close second Is it the Carolina Panthers? Well, let's see here. Looks like that's a no. Close second, ladies and gentlemen, will be your New Orleans Saints. Plus 260, plus 280 to win the NFC South, coming in second place. So, what do they have to say about this New Orleans Saints? Computer predicts that the New Orleans Saints have the second largest odds to win the NFC South with a significant offseason moves, so they say, and heavily backed by the odds makers to bounce back from worst to number 2 in the division. Led by quarterback Tyler Show, who finished the 2025 season under Kellen Moore's offense. So these computer projections heavily believe that Tyler Show takes a big leap this season. What's going on, Broski Bear? Omar Tillman. Who else we got in here? Quante Lewis. What's going on, fellas? Hope you guys doing good this evening. Just a few projections here as to what the computer thinks will happen this season as far as the NFC South winning and as far as your Carolina Panthers and what they project that some of these offensive players will do. So, getting back to it. They're taking a huge guess that quarterback Tyler Shough takes a huge leap this year. And they say combined with highly favorable strength of schedule, many analysts predict that the Saints to be the top threat to the NFC South winner. The Saints coming in number 2 behind the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And in number 3 for your NFC South, we have the Carolina Panthers. And again, these are projections. What we're going to do is compare these projections at the end of the season to what actually happens, right? So the Carolina Panthers, they have us coming in 3rd this season, right? Panthers are coming off a 2025 division-winning campaign. It says that led by quarterback Bryce Young, Offensive Rookie of the Year Teteroy McMillan. Carolina Panthers offense looks potent. However, defense has question marks. So does the offense, as we all know, which is slightly suppressed the betting odds. Now, why on earth would the betting odds be suppressed by a defense that went from 32nd to 16 in the year, but an offense that has remained the same? That's something we're going to investigate later on. What you got here, Broski Bear? You said the Bucs are tough on paper. Bucky Irvin and Gainwell, low-key tough running back duo. That is a fact. I think we beefed up the front this year, Broski. I think we might be a bit more ready for that than what people think. He says the Bucs draft Bain, Trotter, Keontae, Scott, and the defense signed. The Bucs made some moves, Broski. The Bucs definitely made some moves this offseason. We're going to see how it all gels together. But coming in 4th this offseason, as your projection, the worst team in the NFC South, as many of you will enjoy, your Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta Falcons are sitting at plus 320, plus 450, coming 4th in the NFC South. This says the Falcons, presenting arguably the most talented offense in the division, something that we've known for quite a while, quite a few years now. But quarterback consistency between Michael Penix Jr. and Tua Tagovailoa remains. We don't know exactly what's going to happen there. We're going to wait and see. The X factor for their success. We're not even getting into Bijan Robinson. I think we all expect Bijan to do the same. John Connor says, does Atlanta still have a team? Yes, unfortunately, the Atlanta Falcons are still flying down in Atlanta. So, key question here is, guys, why on earth would computers project us to come in 3rd this year? So what I did was I crunched a few more numbers to dig just a little deeper here because I was curious, right? I was curious. So, where's the first? Tampa, New Orleans, Carolina, Atlanta. What am I thinking here? Let's dive a little deeper into some of our offensive players, right? Some of the new acquisitions, some of the guys that we've already had, and see what these projections think they'll do. Maybe we'll get a better answer, right? So what I did was I pulled up first new center, Sam Heck. Right? Center. Center, Kansas State Wildcats, right? 6'4", 305. We know, big guy, right? I think we're all expecting a lot out of this guy. So what does this compile to? The projections are that Heck might play somewhere between 650, 750 snaps, right? Allowing only 2 to 4 sacks. Less than 20 total QB pressures. Okay? His current role is projected as an interior swing backup and competing starter. Furthermore, his competition at the current time is Luke Faulkner. And given Faulkner's past struggles, analysts have viewed Heck as a rookie who could potentially and legitimately push for a starting center job by training camp early 2026 season. By training camp. While he's played exclusively at center for Kansas State, his high school IQ and technique gave him structural financial flexibility as an interior backup. So the thing about this guy is, right, he's not just a permanent center. He has played interior guard. Now, it doesn't say left or right, but he has played the position. Now, we know that he's primarily going to be a center here, though, right? So going on, a few more key contributors, right, to him starting and his success therein. Playing in the NFC South, Carolina Panthers face a demanding slate of interior defensive linemen. We all know who those guys are, the Vita Veas, the guys down there. We know who those guys are. If he wins the starting job, his physical limits will be tested early. So these guys aren't going to play around if we're going in to play the Bucks and we got a rookie center. They're going to go straight at him. This is going to be the idea. Facing powerful heavy sets and nose tackles like Vita Vea for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as I stated. It's a steep learning curve. Very steep learning curve. I mean, the same thing happened with Icky. Like game one, you coming in. Myles Garrett, right off the rip. Yeah. It says that Heck struggles when stood up by pure power rushers, but excels when using his lateral ability and agility to wash defenders out of zone blocking schemes. What do we run here in Carolina, ladies and gentlemen? A zone running scheme. He was a perfect fit. His strengths. Heck boasts elite physical measurables at 6'4", 305. During his final season at Kansas State, he secured an elite 80.3 overall PFF grade and allowed 0 sacks, as we all know, on 759 snaps. This is incredible. Exactly what you need here. So basically, his projections are 650 snaps, 750 snaps, like I said, 2 to 4 sacks possibly, and less than 20 QB pressures. Not a heavy penalized guy, as you can see, 2 to 4 flags for the season. This is not bad at all. It's not bad at all. It says, and that's a 65% probability for his projections on the season. You said because the Panthers offense sucks and they lost Rico, who won them 3 games. Well, broski, I'm not going to lie to you. I personally am going to have to agree with you on the fact that we did lose Rico, and Rico was a key contributor to those wins that we had. But the only difference I will have with you on this is, yeah, Rico did put forth a huge effort in winning those games, but it was early throughout the season. Later on in the season, he kind of tailed off. So we're going to see what that amounts to as well. Player 2, guys. Monroe Freeling. Left tackle, pick number 19, 6'7", 315. His projections are 650 snaps as well. 750 snaps. 2 to 4 sacks allowed and 20 total QB pressures. Similar to Sam Hick. What do they have to say about Freeling in the breakdown? Freeling is currently listed as the second string right tackle behind 10-year veteran Taylor Moton. Don't know how long that's going to last, but we will see. He is also taking reps at left tackle, considering the fact that we all know left tackle Ikem Ekwonu is down, right behind Rasheed Walker. His opportunity, because of left tackle Ikem Ekwonu recovering from his torn patella tendon, Freeland's snap count could be extremely high right out of the gate. I think we've all anticipated that. He's projected to see significant playing time as a rookie, either as a potential swing tackle or as an immediate starter, depending on preseason camp. So basically they're saying that however Freeland looks in camp is going to predict how many snaps he gets and whether or not he takes the immediate starting role over free agent acquisition Rasheed Walker. So for the future outlook, right? They say with Moton aging and several offensive linemen on short-term contracts, Freeling is a clear franchise pillar the Panthers are grooming for long-term blindside protection quarterback Bryce Young. Very, very interesting there. Very interesting. So, what are the pace and targets for him? Carolina's scheme predicts an up-tempo approach that heavily relies on high-percentage targets, playmakers Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker, Tedero McMillan. This requires an athletic, space-friendly blocker like Freeling, his agility, and is uniquely built for this role. Ladies and gentlemen, Monroe Freeling. The stats project that he'll play between 650 and 750 offensive snaps, a realistic projection for a high-drafted rookie in the swing tackle position, especially considering the offensive line injuries that we already have and the ones that could possibly come during the season. He is projected to allow around 2 to 4 sacks and fewer than 22 QB pressures. So what are his strengths? That's it. Freeling's boost. Elite physical measurables at 6'7", 315, and at 35-inch arms. Those are some big guys right there, boy. During his final season at Georgia, he allowed just 2 sacks on 747 snaps, earning second-team All-SEC honors. But with only 18 collegiate starts, something that I had a concern about with drafting him early, but nevertheless, he is considered a bit raw and will need to refine his hand placement and lower his pad level in the run game to be an elite 3-down blocker in the NFL. Yo, what up? What up? Hey, Stillmatic G. Stillmatic, I told the Panthers, right? I told the Panthers fans some of the things that you had to say, and man, you want to talk about some people that lost their mind, bro. When I told them you said that you saw the Steelers sweeping the NFC South, oh man, yo, and you said that you had the Steelers beating the Panthers. You said you had the Steelers beating the Panthers. It was like 31-13 or 31-15, something like that, right? Yeah, it was something like that. I said, yo, this dude crazy. I told him you said 30. All right, so it was 34 with a brand new. He said he's sweeping the NFC South with a brand new broom. 34-16 Steelers win. Yeah, I'm going to have to I'm gonna have to inform the rest of the Panthers about this. I don't know how they're gonna feel about that. Shout out to you, man. I'm glad you pulled up. Yeah, shout out to you. Yeah, the boys gonna jump on you when they hear about that one. So let's go ahead and move on, guys. Move on. Who we got next? Wide receiver acquisition, Chris Brazil. Chris Brazil is expected to get around 25 catches, 305 receiving yards, 2 to 3 touchdowns. Yeah. So this is the thing, right? This guy is currently, to everybody's say, battling for wide receiver 3. He's currently battling for wide receiver 3. Week 16 going to be cold, windy, snowy in Pittsburgh. I mean, it is. What you saying? Steelers pass rush too strong. Yeah, I'm gonna get you on here so you can talk to these boys about your Steelers, because they're not feeling what you're talking about. And I'm gonna let you talk to them and let them talk to you, because I don't know. I haven't looked too much at the Steelers to know exactly where y'all are and where y'all aren't yet. But I'm gonna look at that, and then we're gonna talk, and I'm gonna let you talk to these boys and let you talk to them, and you'll relay that message. He's saying Bryce can't play in that weather, the cold, windy, snowy days in Pittsburgh, week 16. Yeah. All right, broski. We yeah. Let me get through this. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So, Chris Brazil, his analysis, right? Analytics models for Fantasy SP project Brazil as a rotational deep threat, a strong dynasty upside, right? Because he's a deep threats all have a strong dynasty upside, because they're a walking touchdown at any moment, right? Any moment this guy can take off on a streak, get a touchdown. So yeah, because of refining his hands in his route tree, right? Adapting to pro-style physical play, his initial target volume will likely be a secondary piece of the Carolina Panthers passing game. So Brazil's primarily aligns as an outside Z receiver. His main competition for targets from quarterback Bryce Young include Tedroy McMillan, the 2025 Offensive Rookie of the Year, and wide receiver 1, Xavier Legette, 2024 first-round pick, who's pushing Brazil for snaps, and Jalen Coker, a developing perimeter and rotational competitor, considering what they call him, right? Okay, so collegiate success, we all know 62 catches, 10-17, 9 touchdowns. Great collegiate year last year. I like this guy. I'm just not sure if we're going to be able to do what he does best as far as an offense is concerned. That's something that's going to be left to desire until the season starts, but we shall see. So, what else do we have here? What else do we have here for Chris Brazil? Route usage. Roughly 26% of his collegiate targets were 20-plus yards downfield, giving him high efficiency per reception, but making him somewhat reliant on big plays. This could be a concern, basically saying that he's not your typical underneath guy. What'd you say, Broski? Broski says that Brazil is a one-trick pony and Bryce doesn't have the arm. So this is my concern. He is a deep threat, and I know that he can run the routes on the route tree. He is fluid for his size, but he's been used in Tennessee primarily as a deep threat. Basically, like we said here, 26% of his collegiate, not just last year, but his collegiate targets were 20-plus yards downfield. Now, what people are going to do is we're going to use the fact that, Bryce had that high passer rating and high rate of pass on passes 20-plus yards downfield, right? It was 22 big plays. 18 of those plays were for 20-plus yards. But we don't have an exact measurement on all of them to say they were home run hitters if they were 20-plus yards. This guy is looking to come in and be a home run hitter. Our offense doesn't necessarily tailor to that, so we're going to see what comes on along with this. So after dropping 10 passes early in his college career, his drop rate dropped dramatically in 2025. Only 2 drops, 99 targets. That's good. Boosting confidence in his pro readiness. So at the pro level, scouts note he will need to improve his play strength, meaning the physicality of the NFL game, on contested catches and run blocking. You say, am I from Charlotte? No, I am from Greensboro, North Carolina, not Charlotte. About an hour and a half, about an hour and a half away from Charlotte. We can get there in about an hour from where I live now, though. So, what are the breakdowns for him on the 2026 stat line? Their receptions, they got him between 22 and 28 as a rotational deep threat. Receiving yards, 280 to 330. High yards per catch is the upside here. So it's not to say that he's going to be limited to 330 yards, right? This is saying where the floor and possible ceiling could be on the upside of the fact that he does go deep. No pause needed there. We're all grown. 2 to 3 touchdowns and 40 to 55 targets as the secondary target earner. Yards per catch, they predict about 12 to 14. Like I said, again, big playability and downfield role could potentially increase or decrease what we should see. Wide receiver Chris Brazil, ladies and gentlemen. Wide receiver Chris Brazil. Who do we have next here? Up next, we're going to do Jonathan Brooks. This is a guy that I'm sort of concerned about. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. Whether we're honest or not, this is literally could be it for Jonathan Brooks. I believe we're going into season 3 with Brooks, and he hasn't made the field outside of a few plays in Tampa. Okay. This is concerning. Nevertheless, likely running back 2, Jonathan Brooks, is projected in the 2026 season for 90 to 110 rushing attempts, 400 to 500 yards, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, what I'm going to do at the end of this, I'm going to post all of these projections, right? And as I said, I want to look back at the end of the season, maybe midway through the season, and see how accurate they actually are. So I'm going to post all of these in the community section. You guys get the opportunity to take a look at them. If you don't get the opportunity to read over them, whatever you like to do, hold me to it, whatever. Anyway, 400 to 500 rushing yards, 4.6 to 5 yards per carry, 2 to 4 rushing touchdowns, 30 to 40 receptions, about 250 to 320 receiving yards. Now, this is something that I'm hoping can be the upside for running back Jonathan Brooks. A legitimate pass catcher out of the backfield. Not to say that, not to take a dig at Chuba Hubbard, right? But Chuba Hubbard has never been the receiving back out of the backfield, right? So this is something that I'm hoping above all, even the run game. I'm hoping that this right here is something that could benefit the Carolina Panthers offensive scheme this year. This guy can possibly be a home run hitter if he can stay healthy. So the estimate, like I said, is between 250 to 320 receiving yards, 1 to 2 receiving touchdowns. What do we have to say in a breakdown about Jonathan Brooks? And by the way, guys, just to let you know, this is all data compiled from all credible sources: PFF, Next Gen Stats, ESPN, Vegas Sports Betting, all types of places like that. I take this data, I compile it down into what it is, I feed it to the computer, And what we do is we insert all considerable factors, including strength of schedule, opponents, the bye weeks, injuries, the roster, it's so many contributing factors that I include in it is to get these outcomes. So that's the reason why I said, like I said, later I'm going to post these so you guys can take a look at them. Opportunity and workload for Jonathan Brooks. Brooks has missed the entire rookie season and his sophomore season in college. Right. With a full recovery and improved strength, so they say, he is expected to earn an expanding role in year 2. This is year 3, I believe. Nevertheless, Panthers plan to gradually increase the workload, giving him enough touches to impact the game while keeping him fresh. His versatility as a runner and receiver make him valuable on early downs, passing downs, and in the red zone. As I said, how many games you going to? How many games you think? Are you saying how many games do I think he'll make? How many games do I think he'll play? Yeah, clear that up, NH official. I don't know what you're asking. Let's see here. Backfield competition. Chuba Hubbard remains the lead back on early down options and the lead back overall. A.J. Dillon adds a power back, goal line opportunities to physically mix things up. Brooks will split touches in a 3-man rotation. Obviously, the computer is Xing out running back. Man, I'm Xing him out of my mind. How many he plays? I don't know how many games this guy is going to play. Just to be honest with you, I don't have any prediction on Jonathan Brooks at all. I'm not exactly sure if this guy's going to hit the ground week 1 and take off and be healthy throughout the season. I don't know if he plays 10 games. I don't know if he makes it through game 1. Jonathan Brooks is basically on the wait and see list for me, right? This is a guy, and I don't think anybody can say. I think he's on the wait and see list for everybody. Broski, what you got here? Brooks isn't making it out of camp. God dang, Broski. He say he ain't gonna make it out of camp, man. All right, Brooks will split touches in a 3-man rotation with specialty packages showcasing his speed, receiving skills, and big play potential. We're going to stay on the upside of this and hope that Jonathan Brooks stays healthy, right? Because this is exactly what I'm expecting, his receiving skills and his big play potential. His ability to break off explosive runs like the one run we saw in Tampa and make plays in space like also we saw in Tampa will determine his snaps and shares down the stretch, right? Head coach Dave Canales emphasizes versatile backs who can impact the game as a runner and receiver, just like Brooks. And Brooks fits that scheme as a space weapon, right? Making plays in space, who can line up in the backfield or in the slot, possibly. Now, Brooks in the slot is something that I have yet to see. If it has happened, somebody please let me know. So the expectation for Brooks design touches, screens, checkdowns, and outside zone runs, our scheme, will highlight his skill set. And that's the thing about this guy, right? The whole idea behind this guy was if he can stay healthy, he fits exactly to a T what Dave Canales wants to do. He fits to a T him as a player, right? His skill set fits to a T as to exactly what Bryce Young needs. Needless to say, a guy you can check the ball down to who's an absolute home run hitter. A guy who's elite in space when healthy. A guy who is, who can take zone runs, our scheme, and break off home runs. It's a perfect fit. We got the center and it would be, if you want to talk about dream with me for a second, this is something that you guys can really dream about, right? A healthy Jonathan Brooks, 100% in this offensive scheme, changes a lot of things. Not only for the team, I think it may benefit Bryce Young a lot more than what people give it credit for, right? So we're hoping Jonathan Brooks can make it through the season healthy. Hey, we get a lot out of him, man. Continue developing in the pass protection. Obviously, we know most of our backs are not good in pass protection. Something I'm thinking they may use A.J. Dillon for, specialty packages regardless. His continued development in play in pass protection will increase his chances and trust factor for on-field usage. Ladies and gentlemen, running back Jonathan Brooks. Next up, we got running back Chuba Hubbard. Loco Chuba. Yeah. To me, guys, Chuba Hubbard is the definition of keep pounding. Late round draft pick, head down, work hard, eventually becomes a starter. Definition of keep pounding. Not elite, not a top running back. This guy's good. And I think that you can win games and big games with this guy as your running back one. So what are we looking at for Chuba Hubbard for the 2026 season? Computer projections and data shows 195 to 205 rushing attempts, roughly around 850 to 900 yards as running back one. 4.3 to 4.5 yards per attempt. That's around his average for his starting career anyway. About 6 touchdowns. I'm hoping that will be more. 35 to 40 receptions, around 230 to 250 receiving yards, 1 to 2 receiving touchdowns. A breakdown for 2026 Chuba. Hubbard's career efficiency has fluctuated dramatically in alternating odd and even years. His yards per carry has seen massive swings, both up and down. His yards as well, 1,000, 900, 600, we know how things have varied. After a disappointing 2025 season, right, analytics models and Panthers beat writers heavily point to a statistical reversion to his peak efficiency in the 2026 season. Rico Dowdle is no longer in Carolina. However, Hubbard still splits touches with a highly touted teammate, Jonathan Brooks, as we just spoke of, working back from injury, and newly signed power back A.J. Dillon. So, I'm going to say this again. Computer models and data and projections are removing ETN from the equation. Now, that's not to say that ETN is being removed from the offense, right? That's only to say the Panthers aren't using him as a running back. ETN has been special teams. He had his carries in in those few games where Chuba was injured, him and Rico. But they're Xing him out, right? So this committee approach is expected to cap Chuba's absolute ceiling, right? Because he's not going to be 100% down and down out your back, right? He's going to be splitting carries. We all know that. And Chuba's been splitting carries his entire career, right? Hubbard is paid like the primary back, commanding a nearly $7.5 million cap hit. Because of this significant investment, the coaching staff will rely heavily on him highly, right? We know that he's going to be the starting guy. Between the tackles and in short yardage situations, protecting his total value. So he is going to be the starting back, so we know he is going to get the touches. So what do they have to say is his role? Hubbard is locked in as Carolina's lead back and every down option. Expect a high-volume role grounded on inside zones, outside zones, goal line opportunities, and steady involvement in the pass game. If healthy, because he has faced several injuries this past few seasons, he is poised for a strong rebound season in 2026. So, ladies and gentlemen, how are you feeling about 2026 Chuba Hubbard? Let me know in the comments, guys. Let me know. Moving on. Our next protected player. And I say protected because he is a target by many of you. Wide receiver, Xavier Legette. So, what do the computer projections say for Xavier Legette? Let's look at it. At a glance, 2026 projections sit around 40 to 45 receptions for Xavier Legette, 450 to 500 total yards. Now, 450 to 500 total yards is not going to cut it for the majority of Carolina Panthers fans for Xavier Legette. What's up, Carolina Blue 843? What's going on with you? 450, 500 receiving yards for Xavier Legette in 2026 is not going to cut it for most Panther fans. A lot of people are already out on this guy and want him out of the city. They want him gone. What do you say, Bloody? Bloody says, I like Chuba, but I know either we need depth at this position or a true number one. Well, for the next year or so, Bloody, contractually, it looks like it's going to be Chuba. And I know that we do need one, but I think that's a guy that we're either going to have to draft or it's going to be Jonathan Brooks if healthy. But I don't believe the Panthers signed a true number one. There's other things going on contractually going forward. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. As I said, guys, 450 to 500 receiving yards isn't going to cut it for this guy, even though he's likely going to go into the season at wide receiver 3. And the numbers that you see on the screen are typical numbers for wide receiver 3. Regardless to whether, he was drafted in the first round or not, this is who we got. Nevertheless, these are the projections. 3 to 4 touchdowns. This is going to be a problem. I can see this now. So, considering his volatile targets, his volatile target share as Carolina Panthers wide receiver 3, also the computer projections, a sluggish offense, and highly competitive depth chart behind Jalen Coker, Teteroy McMillan, and the crew, he faces a make-or-break campaign to solidify himself and his long-term career in the NFL. Excuse me, guys. So, what do they say? Depth chart and target share. Projected role, they have him slated behind wide receiver Teteroy McMillan and Jalen Coker going into 2026. So that is a challenge. It says he struggled to consistently separate, leading to high drop rates, low yards per run, and depth chart is highly competitive with crowded veterans, not really, nevertheless, and a bunch of new guys that we got. So Xavier Legette's not going to get off scot-free to just sit here and float in the middle. There's a lot of competition behind him, and the guys in front of him are good, right? So with the targets for Teteroy McMillan, the targets for Jalen Coker, the opportunities may not be there because I think that the Carolina Panthers are looking at Brazil now as the primary deep threat option. I don't know what this is going to entail, but we'll see. A few other key factors were the schedule dynamics, the travel benefits for the Carolina Panthers. They say that since we travel the fewest miles this year for any team as far as the away schedule in the NFL, it says that we have the majority of our games at home, which is also a benefit, and a lot of our games are close or on the East Coast. So travel time and matchup benefits are going to be a benefit for Xavier Legette. So, what we got here? Fine with me, no complaints. Hey, I feel you, buddy. Rising talent, John Metchie. Who the fuck said that? Hey, I can't tell you. This is just some things that it said. No clue why it even added veteran Adam Thielen. But nevertheless, the computer does see John Mechie as a rising talent with opportunity, given opportunity, bloody. Just given opportunity. We got here, we say, plus Bryce can't throw over the middle, and that's where Excel can operate. He completes a lot of passes over the middle, believe it or not, bloody. Where he struggles is down the seam and down the field through the middle, right? Off-season tweaks. After a disappointing statistical output for his first 2 seasons, Leggett reported to OTAs with a noticeably leaner frame. So they're saying that he lost weight coming into the season this year. Coaching staff anticipates this will adjust and enhance his get-off burst, no pause needed, and help him generate better separation against defensive backs. So the coaching staff is still backing him, which is a key factor that everybody is forgetting. Head coach Dave Canales continues to publicly support Xavier Leggett and his athletic profile. However, with a general manager and offense hungry for results, Leggett's margin for error has evaporated. Meaning that his margin for error for the 2026 season is slim to none. The guy has to produce no matter how you like him, no matter how you hate him. He's got to produce, and I think he knows that. So, a slow start could result in a heavily reduced role by mid-season. Now, his role's already been reduced. I hope this guy doesn't come out slow and sluggish with a bunch of drops, because there's too many guys behind him to play around this year. And the fantasy outlook, it says draft position. What's the verdict? He is the best viewed as a high upside bench stash player in fantasy, or the waiver wire option. Okay, so if you guys are playing fantasy, they view him as a high upside bench stash player or a waiver wire option. Because he does have potential big play ability if we can get him the ball in big play situations. So, all right, bro. Okay, broski. What I'm gonna do is I don't know if I have it here. Let's see. I may have to look at that. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't think I still have it here. All right. Yeah, I got you, broski. I got Bryce's passing charts from Next Gen Stats. He completes a lot of passes over the middle, like. But the thing is, right, when I say over the middle, this is an argument we had earlier. When I say over the middle, right, I'm talking about slants and dig routes, in routes, beneath the safety, behind the linebackers, right? And I'll show you the passing charts. If I can't show you this time, I definitely will have that pulled up on the next one. So, moving on, who do we have? Wide receiver, Jalen Coker, 2026 projections. Jalen Coker is projected for 55 receptions, 660 plus yards. Now, if you notice for Jalen Coker, something slightly different than Xavier Leggett, right? Let's go back to Xavier Leggett. Just 1 second. So if you look at Xavier Leggett's projections for the 2026 season, right, they give you a floor and a ceiling, right? They give you 450 to 500 yards. This is what the computer says, right? If you go back here to Jalen Coker does not have a floor. It starts off with 660 plus receiving yards. 660 plus. So this is your wide receiver 2 based on what the computer projects. Roster, depth chart, strength of schedule, opponents, all kind of factors. It's projecting him as wide receiver 2. Oh, don't worry, Bloody. We're going to get there. Yeah, don't worry, Bloody. We're going to get there. He's on the list too. Yeah, Bryce is definitely on this projected list. Not only do we have Bryce, we got the entire we got offensive projections for the entire offense. And if you guys missed it, let me know. At the end of this, I'll go back and show you where they got each team ranked as far as the NFC South and who's winning, where we're projected to end up. So who we got here? Jalen Coker, as I said, 55 receptions, 660 plus yards, 4 touchdowns. Now this is interesting. Only 4 touchdowns. That's something to keep an eye on. And 90 targets. 90 targets. We will see. NH official. We're gonna see. I'm not sure. Relax and talk. What's going on? Yeah. This, I mean, like I said, like I take a bunch of data, we compile it into a computer generated thing. It prints out projections. This is what we do. So I wanted to see what the Carolina Panthers could possibly do. And like I said, guys, if you missed it, I'm gonna post all these slides at the end. You guys can go back through and read through them, check the yardage, see what you think. And we're going to compare this at the end of the season to what actually happens and see how correct we were. So, again, Jalen Coker, slot dominance. Coker is firmly entrenched as the Panthers' primary slot receiver. His route running and elite body control make him a natural fit for the inside, where he thrives against zones. Now, one thing to notice about Jalen Coker is he is also developing his playmaking ability on the outside. It's also something to keep an eye on, right? So the Tetteroy McMillan effect is what the computer's calling this, right? The presence of dominant X-receiver Tetteroy McMillan draws significant defensive attention away from the middle of the field, where Coker would operate, right? Creating underneath openings and soft zones where Coker operates best. Exceptional efficiency. Coker has been exceptionally reliable. We all know he ain't dropped nothing. Recording 0 career drops, big goose egg, and displaying incredible hands on contested catches. So, what do we have here? Off-season momentum and coaching, right? Playoff breakout. Coker cemented his status as a key offensive weapon during Carolina's wild card playoff loss, posting a massive 9-catch, 134-yard, 1-touchdown stat line on 12 targets. That was an incredible game. What we got? Dylan Brown 336. What's going on with you, man? What's going on? No lie, that Rams game, Coker really did show out, and all credit is due, right? And if that's what we have to look forward to, I'm all excited about Jalen Coker. Now, contractually, that's going to be a different conversation, but nevertheless, I digress. So they say strong chemistry, right? He and Bryce Young displayed excellent situational trust, with Young frequently targeting him on crucial third downs. Strengths and schedule factors. Streaking into 2026, Coker signed his exclusive rights free agent tenure to remain in Carolina, looking for continuity in the playbook and his connection with the coaching staff and quarterback Bryce Young. Divisional matchups. Carolina's 2026 schedule includes matchup against the Saints, Falcons, and Bucks, our divisional opponents. And they say these are teams he has performed well against in previous seasons. Last season as well, right? The bye week. The Panthers' bye week is scheduled. Wait. Well, that is incorrect. Yeah, we're not going to discuss that. That is a bye week for week 5, I believe. Yeah, that might be an incorrect statement. And we're going to X that out. Coker projects as one of the Panthers' most reliable weapons in 2026. With a secure role in the slot, strong chemistry with Bryce Young, and a favorable supporting cast. His path to 50, 650 plus, and 4 is both realistic, repeatable, making him a steady wide receiver 3, a flex play for fantasy with an upside for more. Let me know what you guys think about Coker. So what do you say? Coker doesn't go over the middle. He runs short slot routes, not over the middle. Bryce doesn't complete much over the middle. I'll watch the games. Okay, broski, I got you. Let's see, guys. Who we got up next? Teteroy McMillan. My God, Teteroy McMillan. This is a guy I expect to have a breakout season. I'm expecting this season for Teteroy McMillan to be even better than last season. Why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Teteroy McMillan is expected for 70 receptions on 122 targets. 70 receptions on 122 targets, right? Gotta see how this looks. This could be a possible error. All right, we're going to go with this one. He's projected for 76 receptions, 1,085 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He's expected to have a breakout sophomore campaign, right? Produce roughly 76 catches, 1085, 7 touchdowns on 122 targets in 2026, right? As the clear and undisputed wide receiver 1 in Carolina's depth chart, his production hinges heavily on Bryce Young's development, ongoing development, and overcoming a minor early season foot issue. So he has an issue right now with his foot. It has been reported by the Carolina Panthers. It doesn't seem to be something that they're overwhelmingly concerned about. But nevertheless, so what do they have to say about Teteroy McMillan? He is the clear and cut wide receiver 1. Secondary options flanked by Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker, none of whom demand high-volume target share, leaving McMillan as the focal point for offensive coordinator, now Brad Issac. Something that we already knew. Pretty sure most of you guys knew this already. Teteroy McMillan, if you have been under a rock, is going to be guaranteed wide receiver 1. Not only that, because of the amount of target share that he has the potential to go way past these projections. 1085 doesn't do it for me, especially based on the, I think it was 1014 last year. So, yeah, we'll see. What do they have to say here? Size and physicality. It says that he's added 10 to 15 pounds of muscle, an incredible gain over one off season. A crucial adjustment since he felt his frame was too light as a rookie. So that's one thing that he did say. He said that he felt like he played under his playing weight last year, and I guess he was trying to be faster on his feet, faster and quicker on his feet for the NFL. Something to look out for is if this 10 to 15 pound muscle gain slows Teteroy McMillan down. That's a concern for me, but nevertheless, like I said, he's not a 4-2 guy. So regardless, I mean, as long as he's able to move and fluently get in and out of his route breaks like he was before, I have no concern at all. SC Panther Boy 803, what's going on with you, man? What's going on? Relax and Talk Sports says Bryce is bottom of the league, throwing inside the numbers. All right, we got Bloody says Coker could develop into a dual inside-outside receiver, but I think he has reached his ceiling. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think Coker's reached his ceiling. We'll just have to see how he plays over a 17-game season, because it's been limited as far as what we've seen from him, right? We haven't seen him in a large sample size to say who he is or he isn't. One thing I will tell you again, Bloody, I know you heard it a lot, but that Rams game, guy had a really good game. And as I said, that's the last time we've seen him, so it's fresh on everybody's mind. if that's the guy that we can anticipate, or the type of games we can anticipate from him, a few weeks out of the season, that could change the trajectory of the offense. Just being honest with you. Let's see who we got. Antonio, what's going on, man? What's going on? Appreciate you pulling up. Bloody says his muscle gain is just armor for him. It'll help him throughout the season. Yeah, it could make him a lot more durable. Yeah, I'm hoping that this foot injury isn't gonna be a lingering long term thing. So it said that he felt like he played under his weight, so this 10 to 15 pound muscle gain could potentially help him out throughout the season. Quarterback and offense, connection with Bryce Young. McMillan has cemented himself as Bryce Young's primary weapon. Young's progression in year 4 in the Carolina system under Dave Canales, and now offensive coordinator turned play caller Brad Isaac. Just real quick, right? Something I heard very interesting from a Seattle Seahawks fan. I don't know if you guys were on PPP show earlier, and the young lady Nay from the Seattle fan, she's not very big on Bevel. And she also says that a lot of Seattle fans aren't big, or too overly excited, to talk about Bevel and what he was able to do inside of that offense. So it seems that we all have a different outlook as to what Bevel is going to be doing here in Carolina versus what the Seattle fans had to say about him. But I digress. Young's progression in year 4 in the Carolina system is the biggest catalyst for McMillan's unlocking and making him truly a top 5 overall fantasy option. So the computer has to say that Bryce Young's overall development in year 4 of this system is the catalyst for McMillan. Very interesting. Efficiency and improvement. Posted impressive numbers as a rookie, but suffered from a minor drop issue, a 6.6% drop rate. If he returns to his elite collegiate efficiency and limits his drops, his catch rate of 57.4% will naturally spike. All right. We know he had a drop problem, something that I don't anticipate seeing in year 2. Who else we got here? Coco YT33, T-Mac the GOAT for real. That is a fact. You guys know, if you were around on any podcast, I was beating the drum to get him here. Why? Because I believe he would solidify the wide receiver room. Right. Strength of schedule. Carolina's schedule, you have the division opponents. And it also says that McMillan has proved he can exploit following his offensive rookie year in Carolina, right? So the total outlook, all signs point to a major leap in the 2026 season for the Tedroy McMillan. Wide receiver 1 volume, improved physical tools, and a stronger connection with quarterback Bryce Young. McMillan is poised and positioned to deliver elite wide receiver 1, I don't know. Oh, it says wide receiver 2, low-end wide receiver 1, fantasy value, and cement himself as one of the league's premier young receivers. So, let me know what you guys think about Tedroy McMillan. What you got here? Oh, just like people think we're getting the Bryce that played the game. You say, that week 18 would translate into week 1. Yeah, I remember that. All right, guys, let's go. You guys know who we got up next. Last but not least, let's go quarterback Bryce Young. What are Bryce Young's projections for the 2026 season? You guys been waiting on this. Here it is. I'm going to tell you something, right? Before I pulled this, before I entered anything, right, months ago, I projected Bryce to throw for about 3,300 yards and roughly the same amount of touchdowns. I put him at 25, no more than 28. This is what I believed. Here we are, computer projections considering all factors. 3,250 to 3,450 yards, 22 to 25 touchdowns, 11 to 14 interceptions, and limited rushing output is what it states, right? So what's the overview? 3,250 to 3,450, 22 to 25, and 11 to 14 interceptions in 2026. As a clear starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, Kenny Pickett, no, we know. His year 4 campaign performance is a crucial prove-it year despite the team exercising his fifth-year option. That's what they have to say about Bryce Young. Let's do depth and breakdown. Why? Don't ask, but we're going to do it anyway. Young is backed up by quarterback Kenny Pickett. He left it at that. He has an emerging receiver core led by standout Tedroy McMillan alongside Jalen Coker, wide receiver Xavier Legette, and Chris Bozell II. The running attack features Chuba Hubbard, Jonathan Brooks, Trevor Etienne, which they chose to add back here, and of course we know AJ. What else do they have? Schedule and strength. Carolina draws a rigorous schedule in 2026, routinely ranking as one of the toughest slates in the NFL. Now, let me know what you guys think about our schedule, because the computer says it's one of the toughest in the NFL. Do you agree? However, the team travels the fewest miles of any franchise. We have the fewest traveling miles of any team in the NFL. Hey, hey, Bloody, I'm just reporting the news, bro. This is what came out, like I said, with all factors included. I'm not saying this is elite. This is what came out, okay? Analysts project Young as a high-end QB2. Now, I want you guys to read this very clearly, right? It says statistical outlook. This is not me. I want you guys to know I did not type this. And if anybody is so willing to accuse me of doing so, I will show you the work table that goes along with making stuff like this. I will not lie to you guys. Analysts project Young as a high-end QB2 in fantasy, noting improvements in his decision-making and mechanics under head coach Dave Canales. But it says that they also highlighting that his deep ball reliance and modest average depth of target limit his ceiling in standard fantasy formats. Now, why does standard fantasy formats? Oh my God, bro! This nigga, he say 336 don't know football. Listen, man. I'm gonna tell you what I do though. I know that they're saying that Bryce Young has a reliance on modern and average depth of target, right? That limit his ceiling. That's what I know, right? I ain't mess with y'all tonight, bro. I'm reporting the news. And see, that's what they was waiting on. They want to see what it was going to be for Bryce. So the projections are 3,250 to 3,450, right? And again, what we're going to do is take this to the end of the season and we're going to compare it to where the outcome actually is. So it's not about what I know. These are generated responses, right? These are projections. So here's quarterback Bryce Young. Let me know what you guys think. Let's see what we have for. Oh, you said I don't know for. Yeah, let's see what we have for the Carolina Panthers offense. Team projections. The computer has projected the Carolina Panthers in this model. Now, I ran more than one model to get you guys an accurate assessment. The computer has generated a response that said the Carolina Panthers will go 9-8 in this model, second in the NFC South, It says that we could potentially make the wild card, right? But the offense will be ranked somewhere between 13th and 17th overall. So some movement there, not 28th and dead, down there at the bottom. It says that our offense actually improves this year, but somehow we win one more game. So points per game go up 23 to 24.2 points per game, which landed us in the NFL at 13th to 17th. Total yards per game, 345 to 355 yards per game, 14 to 18. Passing yards per game, 220 to 230 passing yards per game, right? 17th to 21st. Rushing yards per game, 120 to 130. You can see our red zone percentage and touchdown rate. They got us at 56 to 60%. A lot of this stuff is middle of the pack. It really does. It really does. It has us sitting around the middle of the pack, right? So what do they have to say about Bryce Young in this model? In this model, they say Bryce Young, 3,550 to 3,750 passing yards, right? That's a big jump there. 25 to 28 passing touchdowns, right around where I thought he would be, with more passing yards in this model. And 10 to 12 interceptions, floating right around where he's been his career. 250 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns on the 2026 season for Bryce Young. Where do they post running back Chuba Hubbard? 950 to 1,050 total rushing yards. That will put him at 7 to 9 total rushing touchdowns. Jonathan Brooks, 450 to 650 rushing yards, 4 to 5 total touchdowns, right? Total touchdowns, not just rushing, total. That is total touchdowns. Teteroy McMillan, 78 to 88 receptions, 1,100 to 1,250 receiving yards, 8 to 10 touchdowns. Now, this is where I believe that Teteroy McMillan is going to be. More so on the higher end of the model we saw earlier. It said 1085. This one says 1,100 to 1,250, 8 to 10 touchdowns. This is where I'm leaning on this guy being for the 2026 season. Moving on, Jalen Coker, 50 to 60 receiving yards, 50 to 60 receptions. They're looking at Jalen Coker around 650 to 750 receiving yards, 4 to 6 touchdowns for the season. And Xavier Legette, wide receiver 3, and they got him in the mix category. Quote, that's because of the possibility of an emerging Chris Brazil rotation in and out with the remaining guys, Mechie, Jimmy Horn, those type of guys, right? So they got Xavier Legette, 35 to 50 receptions for the year, 450 to 600 yards, 3 to 5 touchdowns. What you guys got here? So we're just mid. I'm not going to say mid. I'm going to say, for as far as the offense is concerned, moving from 26, 28 to middle of the pack on a lot of this stuff is not necessarily a bad thing, Bloody. It's kind of like the defense going from 32nd to 16, 15. It's a huge jump in 1 year. So if we can get middle of the pack on this and get where our defense, which is something we're going to talk about in another dime, I think our defense can get in that top between 15 and 10 range. So if on the chance our offense gets, middle of the pack, things can be slightly different for the Carolina Panthers. Now, what does that mean as far as the opponent is concerned? I'm not going to say. But nevertheless, they're talking about 9 and 8 for the season. So we'll see about that. And they included the tight end group all together. As we know, we don't necessarily have a star tight end in Carolina, but they grouped them together for 55 to 70 receptions, around 600 to 750 yards, 5 to 7 touchdowns between the entire group. While the offense improves according to this model, let's be very clear here. Bryce Young took a step in 25, is what it says. 3,011 yards, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 63.6% completion, now poised to be more aggressive and increase explosive plays. That's what they got to say. If he get that, they going to be screaming, pay him, pay him, pay him, shaking my head. Yeah. 3,500 to 3,700 will put him in good company, bloody. And I mean, it's just real, bro. It's just what it is. Teteroy McMillan. Oh, we got the real sunshine. What's going on, man? What's going on? Projection. Teteroy McMillan in the 2026 offense. And this model says Teteroy McMillan is a true wide receiver 1 after clearing 1,000 yards in 2025. And Jalen Coker provides a reliable wide receiver 2 option. Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks give Carolina a physical 1-2 punch in the backfield. Something that I'm hoping we can alternate this year a lot more than we saw and a lot more cleanly than we saw last year with the alternation of Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. One series. I like to see more of a play scheme and play call fit versus a series change. So if we're ground and pound on the inside, suppose we're pounding the ball up the middle of the gaps with Chuba Hubbard, right? I'd like to see them insert Jonathan Brooks on second and third down and hit an outside zone. An actual changeup versus, all right, we're on our second possession, right? All right, let's give Chuba the second possession. All right, we didn't score there. We're on our third possession. We got the punt. All right, it's Rico's turn. Run Rico. That shit was dumb. Relax and Talk Sports said, oh, wow. He said, yeah, and you are middle of the pack. Listen, man. I'm giving out computer projections, bro. This is information, data, statistics, names and numbers that have all been compiled, and this is the outcome that we get, bro. You can't be mad at me for what they say we're gonna do, man. For what they say. Wow. So, offensive line has stability. With Ike Mekwano obviously being injured, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, Taylor Moton, all the new guys that we brought in, Heck, Freeland, all those guys, right? To build a balanced and durable offensive line, something we have finally, I believe, completed here in Carolina. Shout out to the Carolina Panthers. We have finally built our offensive line. Now, I don't know what me being middle of the pack actually means, but I ain't even gonna take no offense to that, right? We're just gonna let that pass. Moving on here. So the bottom line for Carolina Panthers in this model for 2026. What up, Tico? A balanced physical offense, not elite yet. Let me say that one. I don't think, because some people throwing the word elite around like they crazy. Not elite yet, but good enough to win 9 games and sneak into the playoffs. If you know what, let's slow down, right? Bottom right corner of your screen. Bottom line, a balanced physical offense, not elite yet, but good enough to win 9 games and sneak into the playoffs if Bryce Young raises the explosive pass ceiling. Now, what you guys got? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? He says you don't have the answers, and we can and will absolutely be mad. That is a fact. You will be mad. Unless I say we was winning 14 games. Super Bowl champions. He said, wow, we aren't 3-6. You stop that. Hey, I'm just reporting the news. We're PPP when you need them. Yeah, because the model says that the team in this offense is not elite yet, but they technically are on their way. If Bryce Young raises the explosive pass ceiling. So the computer model with all data and statistics included, right, has it in its mind, based on statistical values, that there are big play opportunities that we have on this team, that if the rate of those big plays increases, the Carolina Panthers could be extremely dangerous in 2026. And that's a fact to go. Sounds about right to me too. So the next model, this is the one I don't think you guys are going to like very much. 8 and 9. 8 and 9. Offensive rank, 20th. Total offense. And they got us in 22nd in scoring. The strength of schedule, 10th, they say. Yeah, roughly. Anyway, nevertheless, projected offensive stats for this one, it says 3,450 passing yards. It's slightly more narrowed down here. It's not an average. It kind of tries to predict and narrow it out here, right? So it's got Bryce projected for about 3,450 passing yards this season, 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. The touchdown to interception ratio is very interesting, and I'm thinking that it's leaning on strength of opponent as to why the yards have increased, but the touchdown rate has dropped, and the interception ratio goes up. So we are looking at 1,950 rushing yards with 18 rushing touchdowns, an average of 4.2 yards per carry. The top targets, Teteroy McMillan, they got him for 75 receptions, 950 yards. I will be damned if he gets under 1,000. Xavier Legette, 55 receptions, 720 yards. They have boosted him this one for some reason, and in this model, I'm believing that they have Jalen Coker injured. Yeah, a lot. I knew you guys would. I knew you guys weren't gonna like this one. 55 receptions, 720 yards. They got Jatavion Sanders as the starting and total top tight end. 45 receptions, 480 yards for the season. Top rushers, Chuba Hubbard, 220 carries, 950 yards. Jonathan Brooks slightly behind them, 160 carries, 680 yards projected for the season. Let's see what we got here. Depth chart and target analysis. We got Bryce Young retains the starting quarterback job. Now this is interesting. This is interesting here. It says Bryce Young retains the starting quarterback job and will rely heavily on upgraded, more athletic supporting cast. Rookie first round pick Monroe Freeland shores up the tackle position, meaning that he shores up a starting role somewhere in the season and improving the protection up front. So this projection says that Bryce Young will retain the starting quarterback job, guys, based on this performance. It says that he will also rely heavily on the upgraded and more athletic supporting cast. I'm assuming he's talking about John Mechie, Brazil, and the improvements of the guys we've had already, right? All right. We got Bloody. I haven't said that yet, and I will refuse to say it until we really do something here. So I'm gonna let you have that. But that's the series that he's running. Uncle Gates says blasphemy. I don't think Uncle Gates likes this 8 and 9, 20th total offense, 22nd ranked scoring offense. But that's what this projection has us. So, rookie Monroe Freeland, in this projection, it says that he shores up the tackle position, shores up a starting role, and improves protection up front. So I'm guessing he is either taking over the role completely for Wallace, or he's probably something happens with Moulton. Very interesting. What do we have here for draft investments like Teteroy McMillan and Jatavion Sanders? Give Young reliable size mismatches and targets. So the backfield is a potent committee featuring Chuba Hubbard as the power back. Interesting. And alongside explosive speedster Jonathan Brooks and Trevor Etienne. So this is what I was saying earlier, right? Those earlier models kind of it was like they X'd out Trevor Etienne. They mentioned AJ Dillon quite a few times, but those models X'd out Trevor Etienne, and these are including him. So it's kind of interesting how it, kind of alternates who is using and who is expected to get the snaps and things like that. So the Panthers face a challenging 2026 schedule with key divisional matchups and difficult AFC and NFC North opponents. While an 8-9 record keeps them competitive in the NFC South, it falls short of a wild card spot. So this model has projected us to go 8-9, identical record, fall short of the playoffs and the NFC South title. It says that we do not repeat, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. It says why the offense can grow. Well, let's see. Bryce Young took a step in 2025 with his yards. I think we read that already. Yeah, this is the one we read already. Yeah. So a balanced physical offense, not elite yet, like we said. All right. Moving on. Where are we here? We read the points, total yards per game, passing yards per game. Schedule and postseason outlook. The Panthers face a tough 26 schedule, features several top-tier opponents. Winning key divisional matchups and staying healthy will be critical for the Carolina Panthers. Projected 9-8 record again, second in the NFC South, a postseason berth in the wild card, 13th to 17th overall rank for this offense. Very, very interesting here. Very, very interesting indeed, guys. These are the projections. For those of you guys that weren't here earlier, as a matter of fact, yeah. Before we go back, let's do this real quick. Because I knew somebody was gonna try me, right? Let's just let this breathe for just a moment for those of you who are here. Just give me just a moment. Let's let this breathe.
Cool Cam just dropped 200 in the cash app. Say free 336 to week 1. Shout out Cool Cam 336. Link in the chat, nigga. Hey, we about to turn up. Here go 3-3 motherfucking 6.
Uh-oh.
336. What's up, though?
My fellow Americans. Yeah, we're gonna do something else with that later. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we're gonna do something else with that. You guys know something is coming. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do something else with that later. Give me. Yeah. So those are the 2026 season projections that I was able to come up with, right? As I said, all computer generated, not have to be factual here. So, for those of you guys who missed it, yeah, T-Cole, yeah. Because I was called middle of the pack on my own damn shit. And I'm sitting here just, going through the projections, and I just got to be middle of the pack. So just know, it's always one in the chamber. Moving on, how did they predict? This is how they predicted the NFC South to go for this season, right? They got the Tampa Bay Bucks winning the division this year, followed by a close second, New Orleans Saints. Carolina Panthers coming third, and they have the lowly Falcons as number 4. Just really quickly to give a quick breakdown, Tampa Bay Bucks benefit from the most continuity and proven track record for winning the division. We know they won it 4 times in a row. The Bucks also feature the division's most stable and offensive structure under Baker Mayfield. They have high utilized the off season to aggressively rebuild their defense with promising young pieces and the veterans they brought back. The number 2 team they have predicted as the New Orleans Saints. The Saints have made significant offseason moves and are heavily backed by odds makers to bounce back this season from worst to number 2. They are led by quarterback Tyler Shuck, who finished strong in 2025 under Kellen Moore's offense. Combined with a highly favorable strength of schedule, many analysts predict that the Saints to be a top-tier threat to the NFC South and what they project to be the champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Coming in at number 3, we are projected to be number 3 in the division, our Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are coming off a 2025 division champ winning. Led by quarterback Bryce Young and reigning offensive rookie of the year Tedroy McMillan, Carolina Panthers look potent. Nevertheless, they have us at number 3. They say the defense is a question mark, which has slightly suppressed the betting odds despite the recent championship success. Got us at number 3, guys. And for number 4 and last, your Atlanta Falcons. Falcons possess arguably the most talented offense as they have for the past few seasons in a division. But quarterback consistency between Michael Penix Jr. and Tua Tagovailoa remains. So we don't know what's going to happen there. I anticipate personally Tua takes the starting job. I anticipate him running with this. And as I said before, if Tua actually hits with the pieces that they have around them on that offense and the emerging, I think they were 14th or 15th defense last year, the Falcons could possibly be something, but we shall see. They say that the quarterback position is the X factor for their success. As I said earlier, we expect Bijan to be Bijan regardless to who's behind the helm of quarterback. What you guys think about this? You guys think 1 through 4. 1 through 4, that's what they got for us. Oh, no worries, guys. Yeah. Matter of fact, let's do that now. You guys said you like this. Let's do this. Let's bring you guys up. Shit. Yeah, because I like this too. It's an outlook on the season that doesn't necessarily include fandom. It doesn't include anyone's fanship. It doesn't include who you support, who you like, what you don't like. It only takes in data, information, and hey, this is what we get. Let's see. Let's get you guys up here. Okay. Yeah, let's get you guys up here. I'm gonna drop the link. You guys want to come up? Hey, by all means, because I really like this too. It's an interesting perspective. That's all to me. That's really all this is. Just a different perspective. A lot of times we get caught up in how we feel and what we think about things. And I think that prevents us from looking at things objectively.
Any phobias? Any phobia?
You have a dream, the one
Yeah.
thing you have to watch out for are those out there that will try to crush your dream. And you cannot allow that to happen. That is your biggest challenge. So I challenge
Back to it, nevertheless. So yeah, you guys want to come up? Come on up. We talk about this thing. You guys can give your perspective, whatever you think about the projections. We can go back through them. You guys want to look at them? Yeah. Like I said, man. Who is that? Relax and Talk says, "Boy, if this is it, man, these podcasters are going to be melting down when Howard hits the league." Boy, I'm trying to tell you, if we go third in division, Howard is going to be insufferable. He is. Howard's going to be insufferable. on every show, every link, every podcast, Howard is going to give these guys hell. Like I said, this is the projection, though. Not my opinion, not how I feel about anything. This is where we at, guys. If you guys want to go back through anything, you guys want to double check anything, you guys want to see anything over, let me know. We can run quickly back through this. Just take a quick look at some of these guys again. We got Sam Heck, 650, 750 snaps, as I said, 2 to 4 sacks allowed, less than 20 QB pressures. They believe that this guy could potentially make a push for a legitimate starting role because of the inconsistencies of Luke Faulkner starting center. That's his competition. So yeah, they think that Sam Heck can make a possible run back at the starting position. Freeling, like I said, 650, 750 snaps. Both of these guys are projected to be potential starters. As a regular, we're looking at swing tackle, swing center, guys in rotation. 2 to 4 sacks allowed, possibly less than 20 QB pressures. They expect him to make a push for a starting role over Wallace by the end of training camp. Surprise, surprise. I'm hoping for big things for this guy, because if this pick doesn't work out, right, a lot of people are going to hold this one to the table because everybody had their pick in this 2026 draft, and for the majority of people, it was not an offensive lineman. It just wasn't. Would you say, Ed, you said, and I'll take over the fanfare any day and twice on Sunday. Yeah, no, we're not going to do the fanfare. I try to be as accurate as possible, and these are just projections again, so they can't necessarily be accurate or wrong. It's just an idea of what, all factors included, what the possibilities could be for the 2026 season. So again, they're projecting that this guy should take or could take a possible starting role by the end of training camp. Same for Sam Heck. One more guy we got up next. We had Brazil. They're projecting him to be between wide receiver 3 and 4-ish. 25 catches, 305 receiving yards, 2 to 3 receiving touchdowns. Because of his primary deep threat usage in Tennessee, he's projected to be a primary deep threat guy here in Carolina, right? Where was that at? Give me 1 second. Okay, here it is. Roughly 26% of his collegiate targets were 20-plus yards downfield, right? Giving him a high efficiency per reception, but making him somewhat a reliant on big plays. So that's the thing about Chris Brazil through college, right? The yardage was great to see, the catches, the touchdowns, and all that. But the computer believes that in the NFL, he could be a liability on the Carolina Panthers because he's so heavily reliant on big plays downfield, big deep passes. I don't know what to say or what to project for him as far as his role in Carolina. I don't know if we're going to be the downfield passing threat that everybody is anticipating based on drafting him and bringing in Bevel and the change of not offensive coordinator, but play caller and Brad Izzett. We don't know exactly what this offense is going to look like, but I would hate to waste a downfield opportunity, downfield player like this, to limit him to underneath stuff. It would be a travesty for me. So again, they're projecting him 25 catches, 305 yards, guys, 2 to 3 receiving touchdowns. That's what we got Heck at. We had Jonathan Brooks, estimated between 90 to 110 rushing attempts, 400 to 500 rushing yards, 4.6 to 5 yards per carry, 2 to 4 rushing touchdowns as your running back 2. 30 to 40 receptions, 250 to 320 receiving yards, 1 to 2 receptions. With Jonathan Brooks staying healthy, this could fluctuate, be it more or less. I don't think it'll be less based on opportunity, but the high end of this could be a lot higher than 500 yards. Because this guy is extremely talented. This guy is a home run play if healthy. And with him on the receiving end, the receptions, the receiving end out of the backfield, that's the upside with this guy. Because he is a home run in the receiving department as well, right? This guy's a legitimate dual threat running back when healthy. People have big expectations for Jonathan Brooks this season, guys. I'm excited that they're saying he's fully healthy. I've been seeing him doing the cuts and all of that. We're going to see, man. But as it also states here, this could be a definite make or break season for Jonathan Brooks. He's on the wait and see list. Definitely see. Let's see. Next up, we had Chuba Hubbard. For those of you who missed it, 195 to 205 rushing attempts, 850 to 900 yards projected, 4.3 to 4.5 yards per attempt, right around where he's always been his career. Projected 6 rushing touchdowns, 35 to 40 receptions. He always gets a lot of touches. 230 to 250 receiving yards, 1 to 2 receiving touchdowns for Chuba. We all know he's going to be the lead back. Barring injury, should be a decent season for Chuba. We have Xavier Leggett. 40 to 45 receptions, 450 to 500 yards, 3 to 4 receiving touchdowns on this season, right? It's going to be concerning for me. This is going to be concerning for me because there's so many people who already want this guy out of Carolina, right? So many people already want this guy gone. And I'm not sure that this projected output is going to be enough to keep the pitchforks at bay and to also focus on him as far as his fifth-year option or even an extension later on in Carolina. I don't think that this is going to be enough for him. I don't think that this is going to work. I think he needs to be on the higher end of this, 500 plus, if possible, in order to remain safe from the pitchfork mob and to extend your time here in Carolina. His fifth-year option is quite expensive. I believe it's 25, 27 million, something crazy like that. Without a good season this year, guys, it could possibly be over for Xavier Leggett here as well. I think that him and Jonathan Brooks are kind of riding in the same boat. One of them is paddling. One of them is looking out the back. These guys got to produce. Jalen Coker was up next. Jalen Coker is projected as your wide receiver 2B, 55 receptions, 600-plus yards, 660-plus receiving yards. Not a floor of 500, 660-plus receiving yards this year. 4 receiving touchdowns, which I think could probably be on the higher side, considering his great hands, his big playability. 90 targets on the season. Jalen Coker is another guy, man. Barring injury, we know he signed his tender here. Barring injury, and this is the thing. This has been the thing for a lot of these guys, right? Injury concern. Jonathan Brooks, injury concern. Jalen Coker, injury concern. The past few years, Chuba's missed considerable time with injury concern. Even Xavier Leggett has had nagging injuries, which has limited his play on the field. This is the reason for drafting guys like Brazil. It is. Barring injury, Jalen Coker could possibly have a really big season this year. He's slated to come in as wide receiver 2. And like they said, with that breakout performance against the Rams, he kind of solidified himself. And that's the thing. See, Uncle Gates, Coker is healthy, and he's been healthy, but there's always something that comes up with Coker. and he's missed considerable time. So I'm hoping that he continues to be healthy and that we can get him for 16, 17 games a season just to see what it looks like. And what else you say, Uncle Gates? He said XL gonna have a good year, but it will make for a great audition for another team for trade terms. Man, you guys ain't cutting Xavier Leggett, man. But I feel what you're saying, though. No hate involved. I feel what you're saying. It definitely is possible and probable, right? Because of the point in time that we're at with Xavier Leggett, that it could possibly be over. And I'm a guy who necessarily didn't want him drafted, especially where he was drafted at, but to give him the opportunity to see where he lands. And now that we're, in year 3 of Xavier Leggett, we're at wide receiver 3. I mean, 5th-year option coming up. I don't know. I can't say what the team's going to do. I can't. But I know that a big season this year could help make things a bit more difficult, I'll say, for the front office. What do you say, T. Cole? He said hasn't played the first 6 games since he got here. Exactly. Now, what I will tell you, T. Cole, is these projections, as you probably already know, are based on the health and longevity of Jalen Coker in this one. We're going to see. Just business. I actually like Excel. Me too, Uncle Gates, but, business is business. And like I said, the point in time that we're at is more important than anything. And it's the same thing with quite a few other guys on this team. We're going to get to it. Jonathan Brooks, like I said, Xavier Leggett and others. It's not necessarily about play to a certain degree. It starts to become about timing. Timing. Who else we got here? Up next, we had Tedero McMillan, guys. And I think that I had used 2 models for this. For one model, we had him between 60 to 70 catches, 900 to 1,100 yards, 7 to 9 touchdowns, right? Let me see if this next one doesn't mirror that exactly. No, it doesn't. Okay, so the next one says they have him projected more around. Okay, so this is what it was. That's what it was. So this projection was a little bit more forceful. It tried to predict and be more accurate about exactly what the expectation was. So to be slightly more accurate, it thought that around 76 receptions for 1,085 yards and 7 touchdowns. Let's compare that. 1,085, 7 touchdowns, or 76 receptions. And on this model, we had at the top, the middle are his 2025 stats, by the way. At the top, you see 60 receptions, 60 to 70 receptions, 900 to 1,100 yards, 7 to 9 touchdowns. So it tries to give you a rough ball figure of where, around where they think he'll be. I'm leaning on the high side for this guy. I'm thinking 1,200 plus, 10 touchdowns, more so around the higher end of the 70, mid 80 receptions. He's the solidified number 1 here. We knew that with him walking in the door. He has a huge target share over the team. He's the guy here, all in all. And I don't know if we're going to see that many downfield big plays with him this season, right? What I want to see from him is steady, sure hands, because I think he left a lot of food on the table last year. Oh, what up, Block G? 33, what it do, family? What's going on, Block G? That's a fat guard. You already know they call him. Seriously. Let's be serious. All right. Okay, so I'm leaning on the high side for Tedero McMillan, 1,200 plus, like I said, y'all. 10 plus touchdowns. I think he's just going to be the solidified number 1 continuing for the next few seasons. I'm glad that we finally got our guy in this position, at least. And we'll see where he lands, man. But like I said, you guys missed it. I'm gonna post all these slides. You guys can take a look at them, read over them. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell y'all to use these for your fantasy. I would never tell you to do that. Do not create your fantasy teams. Do not bet based on these projections. Anybody looking at this, please don't. It's only for entertainment, educational purposes only. So, Bryce Young. Quarterback Bryce Young. This model projects Bryce Young to be between 3,250 and 3,450 yards, 22 to 25 touchdowns, 11 to 14 interceptions. My projections for Bryce this season was 3,300 yards, between 25 and 28 touchdowns, and no more than 15 interceptions on the season. That was me personally. So I'm right around the ballpark of where the computer thinks. Not 336 taking fantasy. Yeah, I don't talk fantasy. I do not talk fantasy. I only play a few games here and there. I do not play fantasy football for the season. I like daily fantasy, but that's just me. Yeah, so this is where they got Bryce Young at. This is his season projections. It says with a limited rushing output. That's very interesting because somebody called Bryce a dual threat. As a clear starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, his year 4 performance is a crucial prove-it year, despite the team exercising his 5th-year option. Right, so they still know that he needs to prove himself this season to solidify himself going forward as a Carolina Panther. Yep. Not sure what happened there. Moving on. There was 2 models for Bryce. Oh no, that was it. So yeah, guys, these are your season projections for the year. They got us looking at 9-8 in this model. Second in the division. Slight playoff berth, as you can see at the top. Postseason, it says wild card, yes. They say our offense will rank between 13th and 17th overall for the season. You guys can look through there, see a few statistics of where they expect us to rank. This model, again, predicted us to go 8-9 in the season, slightly missing the postseason, and not winning the division again. No repeats here. And again, here are your statistics for the year where they anticipate us landing. I'm going to post all these again so you guys can take a look at them. Yeah, man. That's really all I have for you guys this evening. I just want to know, let me know what you guys think about this. I know a lot of people are going to be upset that we're not winning the division based on these projections. Somebody's going to jump out of the window and say, "Oh no, you said that the Bucks." I did. These are not my words, right? I want to make it clear. These aren't my words. These aren't my projections. These are computer picks. This is what the computer believes the Carolina Panthers will be, and the sum of the NFC South for the 26th season. Like I said, man, shout out to everybody that pulled up. Kenny S, Block G, I see y'all boys. Appreciate you, Uncle Gates. Everybody, Relax and Talk Sports. Edgewise. Who else we got in here? Man, we had quite a few people in here on this one, man. Bloody was in here. Relax and Talk Sports. Antonio was in here. Broski Bear held it down for a minute. Shout out Dylan Brown 336. Everybody, man. Anybody I missed, you are not less important than the other. I appreciate you guys joining me for this one, man. This was pretty fun to me. This is pretty interesting. I spent time compiling a lot of data on the contrary to what popular belief is. 336 does know a little bit about football. Just some. Shout out to you guys again, man. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I know it's then got late. What are we at, 11:30 right now? It's a late one, man. Shout out to y'all. We will be back as I have another episode queued up. Quite a few, actually. We're going to leave PPP out of this. We're going to leave PPP alone unless he so gracefully forces my hand. Hey, what's up, Big Walt? Shout out to you, man. You came in just in time. We are just about to get out of here, man. I will see you guys on the next one. Keep pounding.
You think darkness is your ally? You really adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the light until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but breathing. Shadows betray you because they belong to me.
Go to hell. We'd like to, but we can't accept your surrender.